So I spent a lot of time on this video. I spent a lot of time accumulating my top 25 of all time favorite fragrances. 25 is just the number it coincidentally landed on. I wasn't really aiming for that. I just said, what are perfect 10s? So if it's not on this list, I don't consider it a 10. That doesn't mean I don't consider it a 9.5. Like 9.5s didn't make the list. These are things that literally speak to my soul. The best fragrances I ever tried. Music to my ears. Absolutely love all of these. There's no sponsorships, no affiliate links. I've never received a free bottle in my life. None of that associated with this video. This is just me going from my heart and just speaking my truth out there. Keep in mind, fragrance is very, very, very subjective. So not only is my truth not going to be your truth, like these might not be the fragrances for you, but also it's subject to change. I don't think many things will drop off this list, but over time things change. Like I did a top 7 all-time favorites in the past, and some of those fragrances didn't make this list. So in a couple years, I might have a different view on some of these fragrances. Now this is a top 25. I'm not going to rank them because in my opinion, after trying so many things, when you get to the top 25, what's the point? It just depends on the mood I'm in. That being said, just for entertainment purposes, I'll put out my top 6. And I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and 6 is just what the number happened to be. These 6 kind of speak to me a little bit, just slightly more than the rest. That would be Balenciaga Parfum, Creed Green Irish Tweed, Roja Parfum de la Nuit, Roja Parfums Diaghilev, Frederic Malle Promise, and also Frederic Malle The Moon. And if you twisted my arm and said, what is my favorite fragrance of all time currently? Green Irish Tweed got beats. My current favorite fragrance of all time is Roja Diaghilev. So that's just me giving my top 6 if I had to. But in reality, all these are perfect 10s to me. So enough with the long intro. Let's jump into it with the first one. Let's just do, and these are in no order again. So enough with the long intro. Let's just jump into this. The first one I'm going to speak about is Amouage Silver Oud, which now currently might be my favorite Amouage fragrance. Now, when I first was introduced to Silver Oud, it really did not resonate with me. I used to think it was really barnyardy and too animalic. I remember feeling like I was like a goat in a petting zoo. And for some reason, now I get so much more from the fragrance. I don't know if my nose evolved or just exposure and time and trying different things. I'm able to detect more notes. But at some point I revisited this one. I was like, wow, it really is not as animalic as I remember it being. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely animalic components to this fragrance to this day. But when I revisited this one, I was getting way more of a vanilla vibe and way more smokiness. Mix that with the animalics, and honestly, this fragrance just has like a rawness to it. Like there's something just so manly about it. Almost like it makes me think of like a lumberjack in the woods, like a super masculine, smoky, and the animalics really just provide this really nice manly smell that honestly it's just so much fun to wear. Like I really enjoy wearing Silver Oud. I think it has excellent scent evolution and it has so many layers to it. It's such a complex scent. I feel like if you twisted my arm, this would be my favorite Amouage currently, which is crazy because I didn't like it in the past. It really speaks to people change, your sense of smell changes over time. And a lot of times when I learn to appreciate something, I just like it so much more than when it's an easy like. Like if I smell something that smells like laundry detergent, of course I'm going to like it right away. But if I wear it for a while, I eventually get bored of it. But this was challenging at first. And I feel like it's grown on me, and it's something I'm always excited about wearing, and I just love how masculine and raw it is. Without getting into the notes, the best way I could describe this scent is almost like a burning forest, but in a good way. Like a really nice burning forest with a really good dose of vanilla, and the vanilla is not overly sweet. The vanilla is almost transparent. But the vanilla, I was listening in one of the Ramsey videos, and he said the vanilla is almost like a chaser. Like you got this really smoky forest and kind of animalic vibe that kind of gives you that bitterness. And then almost like the vanilla is just enough of a dose of it just to give you a chaser, just to make the whole thing a bit more digestible. I think Ramsey's analogy on that was just so spot on. I think this is one of the best fragrances ever made. I absolutely love it. It's a perfect 10. An honorable mention here would be Amouage King Blue. I really liked King Blue in the past, but I've kind of grown away from it. I just feel like King Blue's trying to be mass appealing more, but it's failing because it has that animalic oud. So it's one of those scents that just, it got to a place where it was confusing to me because when I wear a challenging scent, I like to go all the way. When I wear a crowd-pleasing scent, I like to go all the way. And King Blue felt like it was trying to do both things at the same time. So whenever I'd put on King Blue and sit beside somebody, I was like, I don't really feel the confidence of a crowd pleaser. And also this fragrance, when I smell it on my wrist, doesn't really give me the challenge, like the rawness, like the artistic expression. So it kind of just became this jack of all trades, master of none. And it ended up being something that I just got less excited about wearing over time. Granted, I really like King Blue. I would still give it a solid 9. But that's why Silver Oud made the list and King Blue didn't. I just feel Silver Oud is more of an experience. It's more fun to wear. It's more raw. I think it's kind of more challenging in a way, but I like the ways that this is challenging. Next up, we have Tony Iommi Monkey Special. Now, I'm not really a big fan of Xerjoff. It's just a misbrand for me. Like, it's subjective, and I don't know why, but the style and the way they do things, and I don't want to give a rationalization to that because then I'm trying to say there's something objectively wrong with Xerjoff fragrances. I don't think there is. I think they provide a good value. I think their presentations are awesome. A lot of their fragrances perform. But at the same time, their scent profiles just don't really resonate with me. My top 3 from Xerjoff would be Tony Iommi Monkey Special, 40 Knots, and Richwood. But I feel like this one just really takes the cake as my favorite Xerjoff fragrance and a perfect 10 fragrance. And it's one of those ones that really confuses me because I feel like the prices on these have really just dropped on discounter sites. Like, people aren't buying it anymore because they feel like it's a very restrictive scent. Like something you can't wear very often in the cold weather. Like, it's a really bold statement to wear this. And I don't know why, but I just disagree with that. I do know why. Because I get a lot of positive feedback from this fragrance. A lot from coworkers. This is one of my wife's favorite fragrances. Even talking to people, I have a very open dialogue with people in my personal life and asking their opinion on this. People don't really seem off-put by the scent profile of this. I will admit, though, that the opening is a bit rough, kinda. It's like the first time I smelt this, I thought the opening was weird. If I were to describe the opening of this fragrance, it almost gives you like this fermented bread kind of feel. So if you think of like rye bread, there's something gritty about it. Also a bit of banana. So if you were to think of like fermented banana bread, like it's a banana bread, but you would normally think of banana bread as being something smooth. But with this, it's got like a grittiness to it. And also I get the passion fruit, but the passion fruit's like almost like dehydrated. So it's like dark. It's not like you cut into a passion fruit and you're getting like hit with a dose of fresh, juicy fruit. It's much more like a passion fruit raisin. So if you were to think of banana rye bread with passion fruit raisins and how that whole thing would kind of articulate this gritty, kind of different texture to it and different feel where it's kind of like edgy almost on the opening. Yeah, I think that could off-put people. But in the dry down, this starts turning into coffee cake for me. Like something that just feels nice. Like whiskey and coffee cake is how someone described the scent in the dry down to me. And it really just doesn't seem that off-putting. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm mentally ill. I do wear pretty challenging scents, but I feel very comfortable and confident wearing Iommi. I also like it because I feel like it really did something new for niche. I don't feel like I smelled anything like Tony Iommi since it came out or before it came out. I feel like it's a totally unique creation. There's really nothing like it. Also, the branding. Like, I tell people this is my Hot Topic fragrance because I feel like if I were to go to the Hot Topic back when I was in high school and see a fragrance on the shelf, I bet the bottle would look like this. That with the Tony Iommi makes me think of Ozfest. It makes me think of Black Sabbath. And all that just kind of gives me this nostalgic vibe. And I really enjoy wearing this one. Like, it's a perfect 10 for me. I absolutely love it. All right, let's talk about one of my top 6 fragrances. The Moon by Frederic Malle. And if you know, you know. In the fruit oud category, to me, this is king. Like, for everything I've tried. I'm sure you can go into some indie brands or go to the Middle East and find maybe like some fruit ouds on this level, but just on a mass market scale where you can go online and just buy this and read reviews and watch videos on it, to me, this is king. To describe the scent profile of this, I don't really get a whole lot of oud from this. I'll be honest. I do definitely in the opening, and the oud is there. It's providing like a really nice accent, and it's making it have this addictive edge to it. Like you kind of are aware that the oud is there, really just pumping up what this fragrance is. And what it is I would say it's more like a fruity amber kind of thing. I've heard people say it's kind of like hookah or like hookah smoke or that kind of vibe. And I get what they're saying. Like if you could think of a really nice raspberry hookah smoke kind of thing going on. But I also get something very ambery. And there's lychee in this that for me, it gives me a bit of tart, almost like a bit of sharpness. But it's this really bold, beautiful red fruit kind of vibe. And it just smells absolutely incredible. The opening to the dry down, the entire experience of wearing the Moon is just... it's peak, and it's the reason I got rid of a lot of my oud fragrances. If you smelt like oud maracuja, that's the one I think of that you could relate to this because it is a fruit oud, but it's not near the level of this one. It's not even close. Another one would be Ambre Nuit. I feel like that one's more different than this one. I actually, and people are going to disagree with me to the core on this, I feel like the Moon is more wearable. Like Ambre Nuit definitely has more rose, less fruit, and it gives it this really sharp, aggressive vibe. And I don't get any real oud from Ambre Nuit like I do from this one. There could be oud in it or not. I'm not saying there is or isn't. Just to my nose, this has more of a oud vibe, and it has more of a fruity vibe, and it just feels softer, smoother. I actually feel like it's easier to wear. I feel like it's better blended. It's just more complex, and it's more deep, and just an addictive, really good smell. The issue I had with the Moon in the past is you can easily overspray this son of a gun. This is probably one of the strongest fragrances I've tried in my life. And if you do overspray it, say you do 2 sprays of this, which is overspraying it with these atomizers, it can become sickening, even disgusting, especially in the dry down, because that fruit amber with the oud can just overtake your existence and you just want to escape it. So this is the only fragrance that I spray 1 spray under the shirt, literally on my chest under the shirt, and that's it. That's it. And get a light dose. You'll be smelling it literally the whole day. It's one of the strongest fragrances ever. Now this retails $1,000 for 100 mil. Do I think it's worth it? I don't think any fragrance is worth like $1,000. I'll be honest. Like for me at least, I'll never spend $1,000 on any fragrance. But the 50 mil retails for $550, and because it's so strong, you only need 1 spray. That's enough to like wear it 300, 400 times. Like there's probably 300 sprays in this bottle. So like this could really stretch out if it's a special occasion fragrance. So I think the value is subjective here. I think if you try it and you really love it, I don't think spending $500 on a 50 mil of it is crazy. That's just my opinion on it. I think this one actually provides a pretty good value, like a decent value for what it is, how special it is. And in some ways, I feel like I'd rather have 50 mil of this than have a whole stack of mid oud fragrances. Like that's just my personal opinion. Next up, we have Gaiac 10 by Le Labo. There's literally nothing like this. And describing this scent, in a way it's going to be really easy, but also in a way it's going to be really hard because I feel like this scent has like a very interesting texture to it. It's very molecular, like so to speak. Like there's something about it. There's definitely some aroma chemical in it that just gives it this magic spark. And in describing like the actual scent itself, like soapy wood, but like really, really done well. It makes me think of Tom Ford Oud Wood, and I love Oud Wood, by the way. But imagine that just done even better, even lighter, even more beautiful and resinous, and just so much. Honestly, this is better than Tom Ford Oud Wood. I'm going to say it. And what makes it better is just the cedar wood and the soapiness. It's just so clean. It's just so clean. Actually, I said resinous before. This isn't as resinous as Oud Wood. And that's part of what I like about it. It's more light. And then that molecular texture thing. And I'm not going to lie, there's a light dose of barbecue sauce in this almost. That just makes it even more next level. Like, for real, I've never smelt anything like Gaiac 10. The issue with this fragrance is, one, the value. It's really expensive because people are willing to pay a lot of money for it. Even if this ends up like on a secondhand market, people are willing to pay top dollar for this stuff because it's really good. Like that's part of the problem with it. And it's hard to find. This is like a city exclusive, so there's not many in the world. This you can only buy in Tokyo, Japan, 11 months out of the year. In September, you can buy it anywhere in the world, but I think 100 mil is over $500. And these are not on discounter websites. They're just not. The other issue is performance. It doesn't really have a good sillage. It doesn't push out. It's not going to be a I'm wearing a perfume moment. Some people might like that. They might want a softer fragrance that just smells incredible. And if you are that personality and you come to me, Gaiac 10 is going to be one of my top recommendations. But what I will say in defense of this is, one, it smells absolutely incredible. It might be one of the best smelling fragrances that I'm going to show you guys today. Just objectively speaking as I can. I think it just smells incredible. I've had people say they don't like this, and I have like a cognitive dissonance. Like, I don't understand it. One guy said he just doesn't like smoke in fragrances, and I get a little bit of smoke, so maybe that's what it is. And another guy told me he just doesn't really like molecular stuff. But to me, this just smells so good. And what I'll also say in defense is it has good longevity. Even though it doesn't have a good sillage, if I put this on, I'll be getting wafts of it randomly. Like, it'll be like 7 hours later, and randomly I smell Gaiac 10. Like, I forgot I even put it on because up on my wrist, I don't really smell it as much. But if I forget I put it on, I get wafts throughout the entire day, and it has good longevity. And it does have a nice intimate sillage for a good amount of time. Next up, I'm going to talk about Tom Ford Tuscan Leather. I love this fragrance. I've tried the alternatives. La Yucawam Pour Homme, for example, and people would always say it's like 98% the same on Reddit, like an echo chamber. I could tell you, like, for a long time, I wore La Yucawam. I like La Yucawam, but for a long time, I thought, why even try Tuscan Leather? I already have La Yucawam, and everybody online says it's the same thing. But when I got my nose on Tuscan Leather, like, and especially when I side-by-sided it with the alternatives, this stuff just blows everything else away. Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford, one of my favorite fragrances ever. And it's... A lot of people are going to talk about the white note, and if you know what I'm talking about, you do, okay? Do I get that from this? Kinda, like, not really, but like I could kind of see where they're coming from, almost like a paint thinner, but in a good way. Like, that would be one way I'd describe the smell of that stuff. What I get is just a really beautiful leather that's done to perfection. Like, the perfumer of this, it feels like he blended so many notes and accords together to give you the most realistic leather ever. And what I love about the leather in this is it's not glossy and it's not dark. So if you think of leather like almost like a glossy magazine or like a new car, how leather can have that new smell where it's like fresh. And then you think of like Boot Barn leather, like you go into like a Boot Barn shoe shop and you smell that darker leather. Like, this just sits in the middle so perfectly. It's almost like somebody just balanced where it's not glossy, it's not light and airy, but it's not dark and Boot Barny either. It's this really nice, deep, but fresh leather that has like 1,000 layers to it. That makes it so realistic. If I close my eyes, I literally think I'm in front of the most beautiful leather smelling thing I've ever smelt in my life. And with that, there's this really beautiful dose of like raspberry. And then that paint thinner accord I talked about just gives it like an interesting kick. And this is just like a rock star fragrance. Like, it has really good performance. It just smells absolutely incredible. 10 out of 10. I don't think any alternatives are as good as it. I think the perfumer behind this really knew what he was doing and spent a lot of time with them. And there's a reason that this one is a Hall of Fame fragrance for a lot of people. And I agree with them. I love wearing this. I absolutely love it. Now we're going to talk about a little bit of the strange Patchouli 24 by Le Labo. And this is one of those underrated gems. You're not going to hear about it very often. I really like the idea of like a perfect leather jacket fragrance. And to me, this is it. Like, on this list, if I were wearing a leather jacket, going out and wanted to feel like a tough guy, you know what I mean? Like that kind of put together all dark clothing, I would wear Patchouli 24 because this, and this is, I'm going to start this off like this. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place right now. I'm going to start this off like this. Anytime I tell somebody about Patchouli 24, the first thing they say is, I love patchouli fragrances. This has like almost no patchouli in it. I don't even detect any patchouli. I'm not like the king of detecting patchouli here, but this is so far from a patchouli fragrance. Like, what the heck? That's like the most frustrating part talking about this fragrance. What this fragrance is is a smoke fragrance. It is so smoky that when I look at the juice, I'm literally seeing smoke gas. Like, I feel like this is a smoke thing for real. Like, I can't even emphasize that enough. It's so smoky. It's the most smoky fragrance I ever smelled. It's almost pure smoke. What accompanies the smoke is a barbecue vibe. My friend at work says he gets like grilling meats. I don't. Like, okay, so my friend at work, have you ever walked through somewhere and you smell a restaurant and they're obviously like grilling meat and you get that, oh, it smells good? That's a one way to think about it. But another way is if anybody's ever like started up the charcoals and you kind of get that grilled smoke kind of thing going. That's more of what I get from this. That's in the opening, and it just hits you like a surprise because of just how smoky it is and how realistic the smoke is. It just takes you there. And then as it dries down, vanilla starts coming out, but it's not sweet at all. The vanilla is literally just softening the smoke and making it more wearable. And I just love it. I love the smell of this. And it's not like I want to smell like barbecue. I just like the way the smoke is, how well it's made, how realistic it is. And when I spray this on in the winter, my wife, she actually like really likes this one. People I work with really like this one. It's not as challenging as you would think it is, in my opinion, because of that barbecue-like texture, and that vanilla kind of just makes it more digestible to people around you, and kind of like one of those things that just smells really good. An honorable mention here would be Zoologist T-Rex, and I actually like T-Rex, but I'll tell you, T-Rex is way more challenging than Patchouli 24. My wife ranks T-Rex as the worst fragrance she's ever smelt in her life, to a point of anytime I say something smells bad, she'll make a comment, oh, not as bad as T-Rex. Like, T-Rex is the worst to her. But there is a connection here because they're both super smoky. The difference is this is balsamic, and it almost has like green olives in it. Like, and it has this herbalness to it. And it's just not nearly as wearable as Patchouli. Patchouli 24 is way more wearable, but captures the same vibe. But I like both of these fragrances. I just find it really hard to wear T-Rex. I kind of feel uncomfortable. My wife can't stand it. I don't want to like, it's just hard to get away with wearing this. Whereas Patchouli 24, I don't think much about. I'll even wear this to sleep at night. All right, next up we have Amouage Interlude 53, and I really need to dust them things. Like, this one's really dusty. I haven't worn it in a while, but I revisited it for this video. Now, when I first smelt the Interlude DNA, there was something so depressing and dark about it. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't get it. I got that weird vegetable note almost. Like, if you think you're in the produce section at a grocery store and you get that vegetable smell, that with like a blue amber and smoke. Like, if I were to break down what Interlude is, that would be one way. Because I feel like with these scent descriptions, you can get really complicated and talk about all 50 different notes, but really my mind can only comprehend 3 things, and I need them to be pretty simple. So think about a really nice amber. Like, the blue amber of this is actually really pleasant in my opinion. But then imagine oregano, like pizza spice kind of thing going. Almost makes you think vegetable green, almost like the produce section at a grocery store. And then think smoke. So blue amber, kind of a vegetable thing, and smoke. The blue amber feels like the dominant thing of this. That's probably why they made the bottles blue. But that blue amber, and it's hard to say how you smell colors. You just do. Like, if you smell like, what makes Dior Sauvage a blue fragrance? Well, it smells blue. Like, this smells blue. I'm not saying it smells like Sauvage, but it has that color to it. And when I first smelled this, for one, the balsamic accord, the vegetable thing, like, kind of threw me off. I was like, man, it's just like kind of weird. It kind of smells like I'm having hookah at like an Italian restaurant. Like, I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, it never smelled bad to me, but it just smelled dark. And then that blue amber with the smoke kind of made me just sad. Like, I remember getting like sad feelings smelling this. Like, it was like a depressing fragrance. But as I wore it more and more, I got addicted to this stuff, like, for real. Like, there was a point where I was trying to review fragrances for this channel, and all I wanted to wear was Interlude, and I wasn't really reviewing fragrances like I should because I was just always reaching for Interlude. I didn't want to wear fragrances to review them, and I believe it's important to wear the fragrances we review, not just spray them on a piece of paper and smell them, But I was like addicted to Interlude, and I actually came out and talked about it on this channel. I was like, guys, I'm struggling with the Interlude, like for real. I'm on that Interlude. And to this day, I just love it. I don't know what took over. It's just so manly. And now I think it genuinely smells incredible. Like, explain that. It's really weird. Like, I genuinely, like, I can understand why someone wouldn't like this because I did not like it in the past, but I can't relate to them anymore. I think this is just incredible, manly, beautiful. It gives me this really nice, like, third world country vibe, not Middle Eastern, but almost something raw about it. Like the actual, like, being on the ground level in like a third world country, and there's like spices and incense and stuff going on. So it has this mysterious but like dark and edgy kind of thing. Like sometimes fragrances will say they're mysterious and they smell kind of vanilla. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a marketing term where they're like, oh, super mysterious fragrance. And then you smell it and you're like, what the hell? Like it's just a buzzword. But with this actually is like mysterious, masculine, totally unique, amazing performance. I had Interlude Black Iris for a while. I started with that one. That DNA is a bit more approachable and beginner friendly. And I got Interlude Man, and I tried Interlude 53, and I thought that Interlude Man was the best. But at the same time, I felt a little uneasy wearing it because the oregano note was really strong. But I liked that. Eventually, like, I thought that gave the fragrance its character, and I liked it. It made it more mysterious, more spicy, more manly. But Black Iris felt easier to wear, but I didn't like it as much. And I feel like Interlude 53 is just a good middle ground. Like it still has the oregano, but the oregano is dialed down. So I actually comfortably wear this to work. Granted, I don't overspray it. I just spray a couple sprays, and I feel confident wearing this. I've actually gotten compliments at my job for wearing this, and I really like it. But definitely don't overspray this. This stuff is ridiculous. All right, let's talk about a top fragrance, top 6. Balenciaga Pour Homme. Okay, this is in the top 6. I'm not saying it's objectively better than everything else I'm going to show you today, but it is one of my top. Balenciaga Pour Homme is a vintage fragrance. It got discontinued, I believe, in 2001. These are kind of pricey to pick up because people into that vintage stuff tend to really like this one. This is one of the ones that they tend to look up to. And man, it's so good. Like it is. Man, how am I going to describe this? All right, one thing I want to tell you about this fragrance is it does have a vintage smell. Okay, it does have that vintage. When you think of like other fougères and vintage stuff you've smelt, I don't even want to say fougère. Like if this reminds me of anything, it kind of reminds me of Bois du Portugal. It kind of reminds me of like Coros, but it's really doing its own thing. It just has this sharp as a razor freshness, like super sharp vintage freshness, like fresh, like in a classic way. And then it has this really nice warmth. Now in the opening, you get a lot of animalics going on and this really nice cinnamon kind of thing going on. But it is one of those things where the animalics give it an edge and make it addictive. The cinnamon is almost like a warm hug, and then that sharpness is just cutting through like a razor blade. So in some ways, it's like this trinity fragrance, and each part of it is just balanced so perfectly. The notes are so elevated. Like I remember the first time I wore this, I was like, man, it just smells so expensive. Like it smells so much more expensive than a lot of the niche fragrances I try nowadays, at least. Like, and what do I mean by expensive? There's just something so like, I don't know, addictive about it, like in deep and just round. And the way it's sharp, it's just like unbelievable. If you're into like classical scents and old school masculine scents, this is one to really look at. If you're not into that and you're always self-conscious about wearing more vintage stuff, you could probably skip this one. But if you're into the vintage stuff, I have a hard time thinking you wouldn't like this. Like this is just so good. And it is one of those ones that, yeah, it starts off kind of animalic, but as it dries down, it becomes this really nice, manly smell. Like I feel like the animalics just blend in really well, and you're left with this beautiful cinnamon honey thing with this really sharp as a razor blade, fresh man smell. Just one of my favorite fragrances of all time. Really good performance. Can't say anything bad about it other than it is pricey, and once this bottle's gone, which will probably be years from now. I probably won't be able to get another one. So it's one of those ones, as I get attached to it, I feel sad about it. Honorable mention here would be vintage Yves Saint Laurent Quiros chrome shoulders. This is a Sanofi era bottle. So this is like a really old bottle of Quiros. I don't know how old it is, but I want to say it's like 30 years old. And they don't make them like they used to. And I sound like an old man saying that. The reason I'm bringing up Quiros now as an honorable mention, it's not a 10 to me because it's hard to wear. There's so many musk and it's so animalic. And the civet is so insane. But it is that classic masculine stuff. I love wearing it. But it's like one of those ones I'd never wear to work. It's just another really good vintage that I wanted to share with you guys. And it's really good for people that like animalics, like things that are edgy, rough, hyper masculine. It's probably one of the most masculine fragrances ever made. It's definitely the most masculine fragrance I own. It's like toxic masculinity in a bottle. Like I feel like this and T-Rex are the two if you really want to go down that dark road. I like going down that road here and there, but it's not a daily thing. Next up, we're going to talk about a citrus freshie. People love the citrus freshies. There's not many on this list. I just don't really like them that much. I feel like they're kind of boring. Like I'm just being honest. Like I don't feel like I need to like spend like $400 on a citrus freshie. Like I don't know. I feel like even the more budget-friendly ones, like one I really like is Myth Mystery for him. Like that's only like $90, and it's probably one of the best citrus freshies I've ever smelt. But Isola Blu Parfum to me is just one of those citrus freshies that I love. It's probably my favorite in that category, that genre. So if you're sitting there wondering why is Imagination not on this list or why is Vibrato not on this list, I love those fragrances. Those are 9.5s, 9s. This is a 10 only list. And to me, the best is Isola Blu Parfum by the House of Roja Dove. What makes it the best? Honestly, there's subjective stuff here. Like this stuff retails really high, okay? Let's start off there. Retail, this is almost like $500 for a 50 ml bottle. Now, I use discounters. I don't know why people even talk about the retail pricing. I don't know who's actually paying retail. Discounters, it's around $200 for a 50 ml. And that might seem really expensive, but like 100 ml of Imagination, retail is like $400, and you can't find Imagination on discounters. And I feel like Isola Blu is just a better scent to me personally. Maybe not in the performance department. I don't really get like 12 hours, can't wash it off your clothes, but I get really good performance out of it. I get like an 8-hour fragrance. But the scent profile just feels way, way more elegant, sophisticated. It's a different type of thing. It's not laundry detergent. Instead, it's more like Mediterranean citrus with ambergris on the opening. The citrus is just incredible. Almost like there's a little bit, just the lightest dose of coconut and vanilla around this like citrus that just makes it juicy. The citrus is kind of like non-descriptive. I wouldn't really say it's yellow or orange. It's just kind of citrus. It's just what citrus is, and it's so smooth and just sparkly, and it just opens incredible. Like that citrus opening is the best citrus I ever smelt, for real. Like as far as how it's built and how much I like it, and just how many layers are going off, and just the experience. Like if somebody was standing at a small distance from me and they sprayed this, I feel like I'd be hit with a wave of the best citrus I ever smelt in my life, period. Very natural smelling too. Nothing like artificial about it. Just like somebody took all these elements from nature and compressed them and made an extrait and put it in this bottle. And the elements they got were like citric and things to smooth it out and ambergris. That's how it opens. Then as it dries down, you start to get what people will say this smells like Terre de Hermes. And that always kind of put me off to this fragrance because I actually kind of don't really like Terre de Hermes. I know that's going to upset some people, but I don't like any earthy vetiver fragrances. I've never liked a single one, like enough to really go out and pursue it. I just don't like that smell of earthy vetiver. But this, it's almost like they took what's good about Terre de Hermes, which to me is the bitter orange, and left the rest. There's no earthy vetiver in this. So as it dries down, this bitter orange starts coming out, and then some florals come in to punch up the bitterness of the orange. So opens, best citrus ever, and in the dry down, there's this really sharp, beautiful, bitter orange that gives it this mature, classy vibe. But it's also like super wearable, super fun in the sun. Something I could see myself wearing to like a pool party. But at the same time, it's just so sharp and elegant and just beautiful. I like how this fragrance is so versatile. Like I could see myself wearing this in a suit and tie and wearing it to the swimming pool. Yeah, but yeah, Isola Blu Parfum, best citrus I ever tried. Not by a huge margin, but I sat there and thought about the citrus category, and this is the best one for me, for my personality, and I really enjoy wearing this. Honorable mention here would obviously be Elysium. I like Elysium a lot, but I don't know, Elysium's darker to me. Like I would give this one a 9.5. It kind of has a pepperiness to it. And I don't know, it's not as fun in the sun. Like I feel like it's more of a serious scent. And I like the versatility and the bright, fun nature of Isola Blu. All right, next up we have Musc Ravageur by the House of Frederic Malle. This one will continue to be my favorite. Oh, man, I love wearing this stuff. It's just got, honestly, like I get it. Like I've seen some reviews where people say it just smells like Cinnabon, and I kind of get what they're saying. Like cinnamon amber is what I would describe it as, but like in the best way possible. And the animalics, I used to not get it, but now I do. People will say cat breath. Does it actually smell like cat breath? To me, no. But I think the reason they're making that connection is if you've ever been by a cat by a fireplace and their fur starts to heat up and you get that smell of cat fur, I do get that a bit from this. And it's one of those things that just adds this really alluring texture to it. It just makes it so like next level. It gives it an edge, and it just makes it a beautiful experience. I love the cinnamon amber with that, and I feel like the animalic just does something to my brain. Like I've heard this referred to as like sex in a bottle, and there is just something so sexy about this fragrance. It gets me in a certain headspace, and it feels like something like it almost has this formal old school quality, but it almost has this kind of like rock star edge to it. And I just love wearing it. It's been a favorite for a long time. It was on my last list and it made this list, and I'll always love Musc Ravageur. So it's the top peak. Honorable mention here would be Labdanum 18. And this is actually made by the same perfumer, Maurice Roussel. And it has very similar DNA with this undergrowing, the amber thing. But I would say that the difference between this is it's not a Cinnabon, it's more like barbershop, and the amber's kind of more like a Shalimar old school vintage amber smell, but it has something that just makes it so similar to Musc Ravageur. Even my friend at work, when I showed him Labdanum 18, he said this reminds me of Musc Ravageur. And it may be that animalic thing is also in this. This has like a barbershop spicy kind of thing going with it. Instead of cinnamon amber, it's more barbershoppy, and it's more versatile, more fresh. But I prefer Musc Ravageur. I just feel Musc Ravageur is deeper, darker, more layers, more fun to wear. But I like both a lot. Damn, I love that one. Next up, we're going to talk about Frederic Malle Promise, another one of my top 6 fragrances. Absolutely love this one. Again, this is one, when I first smelt it, I didn't get it at all. I thought, what the hell? Like, this stuff's just so weird. And it's honestly one of those fragrances, it's hard to describe the experience of, like, wearing Promise, especially once you become a Promise addict like me. I feel like if somebody just goes up and wears it, and they have no experience with it, they're not going to have the same experience as me, who really loves this stuff and went through like a big decant before I got this bottle. But it's just like bobbing for apples vibe, and it's just so nice. It has this resinous apple, almost like an apple, but not in the sense of like you cut open a fresh apple. But it does have a freshness to it. It's almost like a apple core that's been out on the table and it's gotten a little dark, you know, because it's been sitting out, because there's a darkness to the apple. And it's not like raisined apple. It's almost like an apple that's starting to turn into a raisin, like it's drying out on the counter and turning brown. With that, there's like a cider element. If you think of like apple cider vinegar, like in a light dose almost, there's like this cider thing going on. And then there's the woods and rose just are kind of like more like accents in the apple. This beautiful apple experience is like front and center. And this is just one of those super complex. It has an edge. It has a really nice vibe to it. Really strong. Probably the strongest fragrance I've ever encountered. This is like one spray max. This is probably the only fragrance on this list that I could really say assertively deserves retail price. I think 100 ml goes for like 500. And to me, it's totally worth that, because one spray is like gonna like be a whole wearing. So that's like 800 wearings, you know. I feel like it's totally unique. non-derivative, done by an amazing perfumer. I feel like the presentation is pretty lit on this one. This is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I absolutely love this one. This is one I will never be without. Next up, we have Le Labo, another 13. Now, a lot of these fragrances, like some are office friendly, some are not. This is the most office friendly on this list. This is clean human. This is like a freshie for a robot. Like there's nothing like this. It's like the smell of clean. Like you ever go in a room, like right after somebody like bleached it, mopped it, did all the thing, wiped the walls, and you smell the air and it just smells that clean, like it's been clean kind of smell. That's one of the ways I would describe the experience of wearing and the feelings behind wearing another 13 and what you're giving to the room when you walk into it wearing another 13. This is one of the best fresh fragrances I ever tried in my life. It's super addictive. Another way I describe it is like recently clean swimming pool, or if you get in the swimming pool all day and you get out or you're around someone who's been in the pool all day and there's that kind of smell coming from them that's clean. It's almost like if you were to turn that into a perfume and make it smell amazing. Like obviously it doesn't smell like you've been in a swimming pool all day, but it's some base I can use, something where I can describe the scent of this. It has that really clean human quality to it. It's like a skin enhancer too. Like I feel like when you wear this, people are going to think you as a human smell good. Like I don't think they're going to think for sure that you're wearing a perfume. They're going to be like, wow, like this man or woman smells just naturally incredible. Because it's subtle and it's airy and you just never smell a perfume like this anywhere else. I've never smelt anything like this. And all the inspired by versions of this just aren't that good. Like the original is something special. Gosh, I love that one. It's so addictive. The issue I had with this one is I actually couldn't smell it at first. This is a very molecular fragrance. It has a lot of scent molecules that there's a subjective ability to detect them. Some people have legit told me that this is the strongest fragrance in the world, and to them, that's true. Me, in the beginning, I couldn't smell it at all. And I'm one of those weird people that I just kept wearing it anyways, and I learned to smell it. That's weird, like a reverse tolerance. Like normally you go nose blind to fragrances. I become awakened to this fragrance. Like I smell it way more now than I did in the past. And the more I wear it, the more I smell it. It's one of those things. If I wear it a couple days in a row, don't get me wrong, like I'll go more and more nose blind to it. But if I wear it for a couple days, stop for a week and come back to it and wear it for a couple days, like a month later, I smell it better each time I do a cycle with it. And now I really smell it really well. And I think of it as a strong fragrance that's very present. It's one of the most complimented fragrances I have. It gets a lot more compliments than a lot of things. And I totally get why, because it's just magical. Like if you pick this up off somebody, you're going to be like, you know that feeling when you smell something clean and it just makes you feel good? Like it really does give that emotion off to people. And I feel like if I were to smell this off somebody and didn't know what it was, I would have to know what it is. Like I'd be like, what is that? Like that's something else. And I feel like I need that fragrance in my life. That one. I like that one. Yeah, another 13 belongs. It belongs. It's a perfect 10, and I personally like it a lot more than a lot of freshies out in the market. Yes, I do like it more than Imagination. In retail, it's close to the same price. I think this one's just more special, more unique, and I just like it more personally. That's just my style. All right, let's talk about one of the kings, Parfum de la Nuit by the House of Roja. And no, I did not pay retail for this. This fragrance retails for like, I think it's like $1,300, which is insane to me. I got it on a discounter site. I didn't pay near that. Holy smokes. People could talk crap about Roja all they want. More for me, like for real. Maybe like they have a really tacky marketing, like in people's opinions. I don't agree. I actually love the caps. But I do agree that I used to think Roja kind of looked like a clown, and I thought that the high price is part of the marketing and in the listing 100 notes. It all kind of seemed tacky. But when people talk about the caps being tacky, I don't agree, man. I think the caps are beautiful, especially hold them up to the light. Like, they look better in person. I'm going to be real. Like, Roja's got it down on presentation. Then the pressurized atomizers. Man, like I said, people could talk crap all they want. This is one of the best fragrances I ever smelled in my damn life. In my damn life. This stuff is absolutely incredible. Like I'm not, this ain't a free bottle. I don't have any links. I'm being straight up with you guys. Like, I feel like if there's one to sample, this is definitely one of them. One of my friends didn't like this one. I was like, what? What the heck? But, you know, I guess it's subjective like that. If I were to describe the scent of this for real, I feel like I can do it because I thought about this a lot. Captain Crunch Berries. Captain Crunch Berries, I get for sure. Like, my mind just connects it. And you're going to watch, if you watch videos on this, people will be like, oh, the cardamom blends with the sopripriol, and that blends with the sanafidad. And you can get all complicated with all the spices, but all comes together to form what I interpret as Captain Crunch Berries. And that's not all that's going on in this one. There's a bit of stink, but the stink is so good. Like, the stink is like so addictive, and it's definitely coming from cumin. And I know that might scare some of you guys. You might run for the hills. I've struggled with cumin in the past for sure. And I do think a lot of fragrances don't play cumin well, but this one does. And it just gives it a resinous, addictive vibe. So Captain Crunch Berries front and center with spices and cumin that just make it so addictive. And I'll be honest, I've heard people say they smell leather in this all the time. I get it, but it's so light. Like, the leather in this is just so light. It's like one of those things that, like, glossy leather, but also transparent. But really, I think that takes focus off of the stinky crunch berries. That's what this smells like to me. Super addictive. One of the best fragrances I have ever smelt in my life. In the era, I feel like this is a very crowd-pleasing scent. And if I smelt this off you and I didn't know what it was, I don't care if we're in the most awkward situation imaginable. I'm going to ask you what you're wearing. And I'm not really an extrovert. I would have to know what you're wearing if you're wearing this. There's nothing like this. Nothing like it, and it's absolutely incredible. 1,000%. Not worth $1,300. Nothing is. But, you know, it's definitely worth more than a lot of things out there. Honorable mention here would be Roja Sweetie Oud. And there is definitely a connection between these two. Let me smell this real quick. The Sweetie Oud is more sweet. Like, it's the crunch berries kind of thing going, but it's more sweet. And it doesn't have the stink or cumin going. In a way, this is probably easier for people to digest because it's not as spicy. It's also a better value, and I do get better longevity and, like, projection out of it. That being said, I like the stink. I'm team stink. I like stink. I also feel like, I don't know, I feel like the Parfum de la Nuit just has a bit more going on, just a little bit more layers or something. But this is really good. This is also a really good fragrance, and for the money, I almost think this is just the better value, especially on discounters and what you can get this for. This one's one of the more expensive ones. Now we're going to talk about Creed Royal Oud. Definitely a great fragrance. I'll be honest, if there's one that wasn't going to make this list, the closest to not making it was Creed Royal Oud. Not because I don't think it's a masterpiece. I think it's a perfect tint, amazing fragrance. I just don't resonate with the dry down as much as I used to. But the opening I absolutely love. Fresh cut cedar wood. Got a freshness to it. Like, a lot of woody fragrances are dark. Not this one. It's like bright and fresh. And it just hits me. And it's just so comforting when I smell it. I'll always love this fragrance for what it is. It's always going to be special to me. And I'll always think about it objectively like a masterpiece, like one of the best fragrances ever made. And it has this real nice manly smell. It also smells very like American, so to speak. Like, there's a lot of Oriental fragrances and a lot of European fragrances, and they have their own style. But this is what, like, I imagine a cowboy would smell like. Almost like you get in a car after someone who's a smoker, and you get that manly kind of like smoke smell that's in their car, the smell of cash, the smell of cigars. Like, it has an old money vibe, but it also has this almost American cowboy thing going. And I think that's why I resonate with it. It triggers those memories, and it just, like, really gives this really nice, comforting, masculine energy that feels a little bit familiar to me, to be honest. It feels more like this would come from some, like, I live in Texas, so I'm used to going out in the country and being involved in things and, like, seeing rodeos and going to those types of bars and stuff. And this is kind of like, I don't know what, I always feel like the men around here in the country smell like, because a lot of them smoke cigars and stuff like that, wear leather jackets, and when you mix all that together, you kind of get a Creed Royal Oud smell. Now, why I don't like this as much as I used to, so I'm going to talk about my problem with it personally, is in the dry down, it just kind of starts to lose its magic, and the performance isn't really that great. And in the dry down, I start to feel like I smell like an ashtray, like almost. Like it doesn't smell like a cologne after about 3 hours. It kind of smells like an ashtray. And I kind of feel self-conscious for wearing it. So, but I wear T-Rex, so maybe I'm just mentally ill. But that's like why this one would be the first one to go. I'm just not resonating with it as much as I used to, but I still think it's a perfect 10 masterpiece. Royal Tobacco, absolutely love it, but it was not love at first smell. In fact, the first time I smelt this, I was like, damn, what the hell? Man, it's just so strong, like when you spray it. And I don't just mean strong in like a projection way, like the scent profile is just so much. It's so heavy. It's like licorice Christmas candle, like to the max, like dense and like tobacco, and it's just so thick and resinous and like overwhelming. But then as it dries down, it took me a while to understand this fragrance. I thought it smelled like a Christmas candle for a long time. Like you walk in a store and you smell like a super thick Christmas candle, like a really dense one. Like, and I was like, why are people so hyped about smelling like a Christmas candle? But as I spent time with this one, I don't know. I just fell in love with it. I don't know why. Like, it'd be really hard to describe it. I know one of the turning points was my friend put on a sample at work, and I smelled how it was in the air. And then the air I wasn't getting just Christmas candle. I was actually getting something really immersive with a lot of layers and a lot of parts, and something that was almost magical. And since then, when I wear Royal Tobacco, I do get more of like the magic of it. It is one of those ones that you don't want to smell your wrist so much. You have to focus on getting wafts, and then you realize it's like super complex. Also, it's just super masculine and manly and addictive to wear, and I got a lot of compliments on this over time. So it is one of those ones that just grew on me, and now it's one of my favorite fragrances. Definitely a perfect 10. It performs, and I really look forward to wearing this in the winter for sure. All right, next up we have Nouveau Monde by the House of Louis Vuitton. This is the only Louis Vuitton that I would consider to be a perfect 10. That's just my personal opinion. And it's funny because I was reading a Facebook post where a guy said this is like the only Louis Vuitton he couldn't stand. Like he was like, people actually buy this garbage? And I'm like, that's my favorite. Oh, so good. Animalic, definitely barnyardy opening. And at first that turned me off. I felt like it smelled like a put together goat inside of a petting zoo. Like it was pretty barnyardy, but I kept wearing it. And in the dry down, it becomes the perfect scent of leather, like perfect. And it has a freshness to it and wearability to it. Yeah, it opens animalic, but as it dries down, I'm talking like 10, 15 minutes later, it just starts to smell like the inside of a Louis Vuitton bag, leather bag, amped up to the max, but it has this luxury leather smell like nothing else really does. And it's funny because the guy who made this also made Tuscan Leather. So I just think he does leather really well. And this is one of his masterpieces. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. It's very fresh, leather, luxury, beauty, and just so captivating. Like there's nothing, that the quality is just insane on this one. Another thing I'll say about this one is it also has that Western vibe I talked about earlier, almost cowboy vibe, almost smells like a scent that's familiar to me. That's not the reason I prefer this to Ambre Nomade. I also like Middle Eastern scents, but I prefer this because it's not fruity and flowery. Like I feel like this one's just more leather jacket, more appropriate, and it also is fresher and lighter, and it just feels so much easier to wear. I'm not really a fan of Ambre Nomade. It's just kind of overwhelming to me, and I feel like Ambre Nomade has something like sour. Like maybe my nose just processes it wrong, but this just is beauty. So I think people compare this to Ambre Nomade a lot, but it's weird because I love this one and I don't really like Ambre Nomade. Next up, we have Dior Homme Intense. Definitely one of the more affordable perfect 10s that I have. I love it. Like, I love it. Like, people say it's super powdery. I actually don't get that. I do get the chocolate protein powder thing and like a vintage wood. And the way the powder is in this, there's definitely powder, don't get me wrong, but it almost comes across soapy. So if you could think of like a really beautiful soapy vintage feel that's just fresh, it's really nice. It has a warmth to it. It almost has like a chocolate protein powder kind of thing going. Really going to be kind of hard to explain this. Like I feel like I'm just running you around in circles. But imagine a really beautiful cedar woody scent kind of thing. And then it's being accented by like almost a chocolatey kind of feeling. Like there's something chocolate about it, but it's not like candied chocolate, and it's not overly sweet or really even sweet at all. Almost just like the accent of chocolate wood. But then the powder comes in and makes this thing into a soap, like a soapy fresh, super fresh, wearable thing. And it's just so addictive. And I just think it's absolutely amazing. It's one of those ones that could easily be like a signature scent for me because it's more affordable to wear it daily. And it just feels like something I want to smell like all the time to other people. Like this is a vibe I really get with. And that's going to lead us into Green Irish Tweed, formerly my favorite fragrance of all time. Still one of my favorites for sure. Green Irish Tweed's really classic. It always just lifts me up. The brightness of the opening, the freshness of the grass is something that's just such an incredible niche experience for me. And then, so then the opening is like sharp grass razor blades, but it's not like grass like somebody's mowing a lawn outside. Like to me, that's way more earthy and dirty. Like this is way more fresh and uplifting, almost like they extracted what makes grass fresh and just hit you with it. And it hits me like shock. Like it's like so realistic. It's incredible. And there's also this ozonic quality to it. Almost like you're in like by a lagoon or something, or almost like it rained the day before, but now you're getting hit with fresh cut grass and a bit of rain. Then as it dries down, it becomes more earthy, and the earth has kind of got this dampness to it, and it kind of gives it this almost resinous feel to some extent. Really what's coming out is the violet leaf. Like the grass starts toning down and it starts becoming more earthy. And it's beautiful throughout. I kind of wish the top notes lasted longer in this one. That's the only complaint. Like I feel like the opening is super fresh, magical. And then as it dries down, it becomes more earthy and a bit more damp and not as fresh. And I like both parts of this fragrance a lot. It has a really classy gentleman vibe. It's very wearable. And it just feels like cool, laid back, warm, masculine personality. Like I love it. But I feel like that top note opening that lasts like 10 minutes, I just wish it lasted like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like I really like that fresh cut grass on the opening. But Green Irish Tweed, definitely one of my favorites of all time. And that really leads us into Roja Diaghilev, my current favorite fragrance of all time. Man, this video is exhausting. I didn't realize it was going to take this long. And like, I'm not even like, I don't even have the energy to do this anymore. Like should I take a break and come back? Like I'm starting to think that because I'm really hyped about this fragrance, but I don't feel like I'll give it the justice of energy that it deserves because I feel like I've been rambling for like an hour. Damn. Now, the first time I sprayed this, I thought it smelled like an old lady. Okay, I know that sounds crazy. This is one I had to actually warm up to and get to understand. But it is a Chypre, and Chypres were traditionally feminine fragrances in the past, from my understanding. So it makes sense that I would make that connection. But now I don't get that at all. I just get... How do I describe this? One of the most classic, warm, beautiful fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. I do believe this is the best fragrance I've ever smelt. It's my favorite fragrance. And it's like, I'm going to struggle so hard to describe this, and maybe that's part of the description of it. Like, there's definitely a peach note, but it's so hard to describe the peach here. Because I would normally say, oh, fresh cut peach, or is it like a candied peach, or is it like a dry, dehydrated peach? It's none of those. It's Diaghilev peach. It's like really that. It's its own thing. Almost like somebody made peach the way they felt peach should be. But you do get that connection to peach for sure. But it's just its own thing. Like it's kind of transparent in a way. It's not really like super present, and it's not a huge part of the composition. It's very light and very see-through, so to speak. And it just gives it a very light, fruity, comforting vibe to it. With that, I get the oak moss, and the oak moss is just so beautifully blended in. It's just, and then the animalics and the warmth. Like the animalics are what put me over the edge with Diaghilev, and those are more in the dry down. It's funny, I've heard people say the opposite. They love the opening, don't like the dry down. The dry down's my favorite part. And the animalics are just spicy man smell. It just smells absolutely incredible. And this is one of those ones that just puts me on a dynamic range of emotions. On one end, you have this peachy, fresh, oak mossy thing going on. And then you have this manly, slightly almost cumin-esque, spicy thing going on that's just beautiful. Like the animalics in this are incredible. Both parts are beautiful. And it almost has like the rawness of human nature. You can almost smell that in this. Like there's something raw about it, like something human about it. But it also has the beauty of like our creations, like the way the oak moss and this peach thing almost create like a different type of emotion. So you get like this spectrum of like almost the suffering of what it means to be a human mixed with the beauty of what it means to be a human. And it's just art. Like, and the way the thing is blended is so ridiculous because you can smell each part, but it feels like a symphony. Like it feels like it's so well blended together. Like when you have your bass, your mids, and your highs, just like in instruments and music, when you hear a whole symphony going, and they've been training for like 50 years and they know what they're doing versus, you hear like I don't know, a middle school band symphony and it don't hit right. This is like the Harvard Symphony, man. This is like all the pieces are just like, whoa. I'm crazy. I'm a crazy guy. My favorite fragrance of all time is Diaghilev, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I love wearing it. Actually, one of my most complimented fragrances of all time. I think the only thing that rivals this is Aventus. And I've only gotten compliments from women, if that matters to you, from this. I don't even care about compliments, especially from women. I'm married. But at the same time, I'm just shocked how many compliments I get with this. It's absolutely ridiculous. People love this stuff around me. I'm in Texas, so geography plays a role in that, but people love it. It's very strong, and it's just so nice, man. This is just beautiful. Like, I actually think this one might be worth $1,000. Like, if I had to pay it, because it is my favorite fragrance of all time. And I also just think it's so well made. It retails for like $1,200, but of course, go on discounters. Like, I don't know why people pay retail or talk about retail prices. It doesn't make sense. Let's do another Roja. Roja Dove Enigma Parfum. Another amazing one. This is Jack and Coke, and it's so realistic. You can smell the bubbles. But Jack and Coke in like the best way imaginable. Cognac and Coke is what it's supposed to be. But man, it's so creative. Like, there's nothing like this. There's a bit of a herbaceous kind of feeling to it that almost makes you think of root beer. Like, I don't know, root beer kind of has a herbal taste for me, at least, like somewhat, like lightly. It's like Jack and Coke, and it kind of has that herbal thing going on. But ultimately, just super classy, super amazing, very innovative, very unique. I'm going to be a bit shorter with this one because I feel like there just isn't as much to say. It's kind of easy to describe. This is like Jack and Coke in the best way possible. And it's so well put together that you can literally smell the bubbles coming off the Coke. Like, refreshing. Almost like you're drinking an ice cold Jack and Coke. Like, that's what this smells like, for real, but in the best way possible. And I feel like when I'm wearing this, people around me, I get a lot of positive feedback on it. And a lot of it is, what is that? Because if I were hit with this, it's so unique. It's not a typical, Cinnabon fragrance here. Like, this is warm and nice. And it's very classy and upscale. I think it's just very well done, very creative, amazing fragrance, 10 out of 10. Actually, I'm going to keep it short because I feel like I'm making like a 2-hour long video here. Next up, we're going to talk about Noir 29 by Le Labo. Still love this one. Very peak for me. I'm not really into that whole like Encre Noir vetiver. I talked about earlier, like dirty vetiver fragrances. And I think one of the real selling points for me on this is it gives me that earthy kind of feeling without being dirty. It gives me that beautiful nature smell. Like, that's what I get from this. Like, I totally get the leaves. Like, I've called it wet leaves on a forest floor. Almost like, but another way I would describe it is a rainy garden. Like, you're in a garden and it's raining. And you get that comfort of the rain and the dark clouds and that kind of feeling. Imagine being in like a log cabin and it's raining. The temperature's perfect, and you're just looking out the window at a bunch of like beautiful plants, and you're getting that smell of that environment. That's what this is. And it almost gives me like a black and white classy vibe. It's just such a vibe, such a beautiful scent. This has been like a favorite. And really, I should have made my top 6 a top 7 and included this one. This one's up there. Noir 29 by Le Labo. As far as like anything negative to say about it, I can't think of anything negative to say about this one. Maybe, people talk about price, but price is so subjective. If you love something, like, who's to decide what it's worth to you and what it's not worth? Also, my wife says she gets rose petals from this. And I actually get what she's saying, but it'd be like real rose petals, not like perfumey rose petals. Like literally you're at a damn greenhouse and you actually pick up a rose and actually smell the petals. It wouldn't smell like perfume rose. It would just smell real rose. I kind of get what she's talking about. Like, but I get leaves. But really you could say rainy day smelling a rose. Like that's another way of thinking about Tenor 29. I love it. Next up we have Bois du Portugal. I actually just have a really large decan of this one. I don't have the full Perez. I regret it. Spicy man. First time I smelled this, I thought it smelled like Old Man. I was turned off to it. This is one that was an acquired taste. But over time, that Old Man smell just became super masculine. This is like a really manly fragrance. Spicy, like spicy, fresh barbershop. And when I tried this, I thought, I'm into barbershop fragrances. So I tried a ton of them. But none of them are as good as Bois du Portugal. It's like I started with the best one. I thought I was into that scent category. I tried a bunch of them. I like a lot of them, don't get me wrong, but this is like supreme old school man smell to me. I absolutely love it. You get that barbershop spice, and then you get like a foresty background kind of going. And it's just super fresh, super nice, very good performance. And I love Bois du Portugal. I absolutely love it. I can't even think of an honorable mention to this. This is like the king of a scent category in my mind. And I think it's just so manly. And when I wear it, I don't really worry about people thinking I smell like an old man. And that's part of the masculine energy that Bois du Portugal gives me. It's just a whole experience to wear it. Next up, we have Carnal Flower by Frederic Malle. Not the Bois du Portugal. Like, this isn't hyper masculine. But this is like the smell of nature again. Like Tenor 29, Green Irish Tweed, and Carnal Flower, I feel like occupy a similar space in my mind. Because I think like the smell of nature is beautiful. Like when you go out and you get a smell on a fresh day and you just get that smell of everything going on in nature, like it smells incredible to me. I think nature produces some of the best smells, and these just capture it and put it in a bottle. And this is like a garden, like a beautiful spring day, watery garden, like something so refreshing and satisfying and realistic about this. And I used to worry about it being too feminine. I'll be honest, it's not the most masculine scent in the world. My wife thinks it's super femme. I love the scent so much. I wear this for myself, and people around me really like it. And I think part of the way I could get away with this is it's not as floral as you would think it is with the name Carnal Flower. There's some green going on. Like it almost smells like a greenhouse with a bunch of flowers in it. I definitely get the stem of the flower, the whole flower. It's not just focused on the petals. So it doesn't really have that kind of old lady smell. Also, it's not a rose fragrance. It's very white floral. And rose fragrances I tend to struggle with more. They tend to remind me of grandma's more. But the white floral, super fresh garden that this is just, I love it. It's one of the most uplifting, fresh spring scents. It actually probably is one of the freshest, most uplifting spring scent I could think of. Like, I feel like Green Irish Tweed is definitely more handsome, but this one's more uplifting, bright, nature, happy. Like, amazing. Next up is Dior Ambre Nuit. One of the best ambers ever. Just smelling it now, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's just ridiculous how good this smells. Just the perfect, like, almost sparkly rose to the max degree. Almost something that has a magical molecular component. Like, when I spray this on, it's like I'm hit with a big blast of freshness. It's just ridiculous. And then the cinnamon spice and then the way it's blended. There's a reason I got the big bottle. Like, this thing is ridiculous. But this is, like, signature scent stuff for me. Like, I absolutely love the scent. And it's so good. Like, I have tried a lot of amber ouds and amber roses and ambers like Grand Soir and all that. Or I think of Roja Amber Oud, and none of them are as good as this one. Like, this one's next level. I think what I like about it is just how fresh the rose is on the opening, like sparkling fresh. And then when it dries down, the way that this cinnamon amber thing happens is just so well done and so addictive and just magical. Ambre Nuit. The issue I have with this is I go nose blind to it instantly. But people around me say it's really strong. But I can't smell it past like 30 minutes. But then I'll have people saying I sprayed too much perfume for real in a larger space too. So apparently it's really strong, but I stopped being able to smell it. Finally, Burlington 1819. My favorite grapefruit fragrance, for sure. And I've spent some time thinking, I love how manly this is. Now, when I first wore this, and you could watch my review in the past, like my data review, I didn't like it. I thought it smelled like armpit. I always like the opening, and the opening kind of reminds me of like a Mexican candy almost, like a grapefruit Mexican candy. So it has this really bright, super realistic grapefruit, which is almost like grapefruit juice, like real grapefruit for real. It has the tarts and everything. I think it's the most realistic grapefruit I've ever smelt in my life. It is actually. And then these tagine like spices start kicking in and it blends and it makes this spicy, realistic, uplifting grapefruit. And it's just incredible for the first hour. After about an hour, the cumin comes out and it's like curry cumin. And that used to throw me off. And I thought, damn, it smells like armpit body odor. I made a bad review on this publicly. I like denounced this fragrance. I was like, oh, hell no. But then I had to wear it for a week because I'm insane. And I did it for a video. And at the end of the week, I just loved it. And now I don't get the armpit from it anymore. So I guess there's two ways of smelling this. And now I smell it as like spicy, masculine, old money, classy vibes. Almost gives me a similar vibe to Creed Royal Oud, but in spices. Just that really beautiful vintage feel, just amazing stuff. Absolutely love it now. I do worry when I wear it that somebody thinks I smell like BO, but I don't actually worry that much. I think like most people would think this smells good. I don't think people think about the perfumes we're wearing as much as we do. That's my personal opinion. So I kind of focus on wearing what I want to wear because I'm going to be with it for 8 hours versus somebody who crosses paths with me for like 2 seconds and gets a light waft of it. Why do I care what they think? You know what I mean? Like, I care what I think. And I love this one now. I love it. Absolute 10. I'm done. Thank Lord. I don't know how long that was. I'm kind of worried about editing this and actually seeing how long this video is going to be. But I felt like I needed to do one master video to just get out my favorites and let you guys know what they are and describe them briefly. And maybe I'll do this again next year or something periodically, but if I were to only keep like 25 fragrances, I'd be good with these. Like, I'd be okay with that. Yeah. I love you guys. Leave your comments with some of your favorites. Also, let me know what you think about some of these, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.